When would you like to get married? Ideally.
30. I'm 35.
Before we get to the episode, do check out the new Instagram and Facebook of the White Stripe Podcast Network. Alright, let's go to the show. Alright, today I'm joined by a former actor, former reality TV contestant, computer programming graduate of De La Salle University, and now he works in full-time ministry. You can catch him online at Bodie Cruz on Instagram. Bodie, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank you, Trey, for inviting me. I've been following your show.
Thank you.
Conversations, interesting conversations.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. I was, like when I was asking you, I was thinking about it. You're the oldest guy so far that's been on the show.
Is that a good thing?
It's a good thing.
Yeah,
Which means that I think of you as a young person. So I think that's a good sign.
Good save. Good save.
Give me your routine when it comes to health nowadays. I'm very curious because like you post a lot about it online. You do some things here and there, but like what's something that you do normally now that you didn't do before quarantine? And when it comes to health,
When it comes to health, to be honest, I'm pretty much doing the same thing.
Okay.
Prior to the quarantine, I made it a point to go to the gym Monday to Saturday at least.
Okay.
Let me tell you, I'm not really into the whole. Well, I want to be healthy, but I go there more for the social aspect of it.
Okay.
So, the friends that I have hang out there. So in the beginning, it was really tough waking up early that morning, but when you establish that friendship and accountability, we started out we started out, we were around mga 6, tapos we ended up 2 na lang kami. Kaya nag-usap kami, sabi namin, bro, bawal ka mawala. Kasi pag mawala ka, wala akong kasabay dito. And now,
tama.
that guy, yun yung kasabay ko every morning pa rin. We Zoom every 7 a.m. The difference was that I started investing on equipment, on weights.
Yeah.
Took me some time to do that kasi di ba parang when the quarantine started, is it a good investment?
Because at first we thought it was 1 month. We were all like,
exactly.
Is it gonna be in a month? Like a month from now, I can go back to the gym, right? Like that's what it felt like. And now it's like we're 6 to 8 months in, and
the first month, bro, I did not work out at all. Kasi I was thinking na I'm gonna wait it out. Kasi what am I gonna do at home?
Yeah.
Like that. Pero come the second month, sabi ko, looks like we're not going anywhere. So I bought one set. I bought 35s. Come a couple of weeks after, wow, wala pa rin. So I bought another set. Until now, I like have 4 sets of dumbbells already.
Yeah.
And, it's really a good investment. So
guys
who are looking at working out soon, do it from home so that you'd be safe. Invest in good equipment. After all, yun din naman yung gym membership mo eh.
That's true. I mean, it's just a bit upfront, but other than that, it's gonna last you a long time. So that's fine. When it comes to mental health, though, how are you handling it?
It's important to stay connected with people.
Tama. Yeah.
To be honest with them. I mean, a lot of people would, connect with people and say, okay lang ako.
Yeah.
It's nice to have people that you don't have to put up a facade.
Tama.
So, you tell them talaga, bro, nakaka-bad trip ngayong araw, bro. I don't know what I'm doing, bro. I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Tapos, one thing lang din, we work in the ministry. So sometimes when you share about problems, people can go ministry mode din, bro. Ako, I love it that I have friends that I can be transparent with. And
tama.
they can be tao. Na, na you won't minister to me. There are times when, bro, I just need you to listen. I'll just let it out. But naman that I can handle it. So I think that's that.
I think that's super important because like, especially now, it's hard to connect with people when you're talking online.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to type everything out. How are you, bro? I'm good. Like, all right, there, send, and then scene zone na lang. It's so much easier to just do that. But when you find someone you really trust, you have to have that outlet sometimes of just releasing it and letting yourself be vulnerable for a while. And it's hard to do that nowadays. I feel like that. The challenge is even harder because there's more barriers.
That's true.
So when I do see people in person, I do really try to like ask them how they are because it's so different now.
Yeah. And you'd be surprised, bro. Kasi you said, di ba, parang you have to look for people that you can trust. With everything that's happening now, when you ask someone, how are you? Kahit na hindi kayo ganun ka-close, parang they start pouring out. They're just waiting for someone to listen to them. And I think we found ourselves in situations like that na yun nga. Sometimes, if I'm being honest, di ba, don't you feel that it's easier to pour out with someone that you're not that connected with? Kasi,
fair point. Because you won't see them all the time. You're just like,
exactly.
like this is what I'm feeling. They'll be there for the moment, and then like you don't see them for a while. I think you're right. That can be easier.
So release is so important. Finding an outlet to be able to do that. And yun nga, I'm grateful that I have different circles. I have the circle at the gym. I have the circle with my former friends, Showbiz. I have this circle in church. Yeah. So, you know, it always helps to have friends from different walks of life. You get different perspectives.
You mentioned show business. So I want to ask you a few things about it. Because I saw your interviews with like other people before this. So before every conversation I have with people, I always try to do my research. I always check. I Google their name. I do everything that I can. Make sure that you don't talk about these things with other people that often. But I'm curious because I never really asked you this. So in other shows, you call yourself a shy person. You were like, oh, I was shy growing up. I was doing all those things. But give me your honest thoughts. What are the challenges of growing up in a family where everyone knew who your parents were?
People always ask me this, isn't it weird? If you grew up in that kind of environment, you wouldn't see it as weird because it's what's normal for you.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
So, diba, parang people ask me, anong feeling mo kapag people go up to your dad and ask for his autograph? What do you feel if you parang get extra
attention
here or diba parang ganun.
Okay.
So extra attention. But, I always say na I don't really see it as special because I got used to it.
Okay.
It's normal for me. So it wasn't until yun nga people just started talking about it that sabi ko, oo nga no, when you look at how other people are being treated. So, well, that's one. Actually, growing up, di ka naman magre-reklamo eh. That's actually, diba? That's something na parang, uy, wow.
That's true.
Works. But in other aspects, I hated it, bro, when I was in grade school. Na every time there are programs sa school, I would assume that I would perform.
Right.
That, na parang,
you're like, hey, this is the performer kid.
Tapos mag-perform kayong dalawa and I'm like, I don't want to do that. But then, yun nga, parang, okay, my teacher said so I'll do it. I hated it talaga.
Because they just assume sometimes. They're just like, hey, this kid knows how to perform. Let's put him up there. Like, kaya niya yan. Go do it. Exactly. And I find that really interesting when you put it like that. Did this make you not want to go into showbiz?
Yeah, bro. I think that's a big factor. That's a really big factor. And yun nga, growing up lang din, not to put our family up there, pero yun nga, people always say na hindi lang actors yan. Actually, Cruzes are more known to be musicians. So, you know, my mom was like telling me, mag-aral ka ng piano kasi the family expects the children to know some instruments. And bro, I really am so not into it. I know you are, and you know, you're really good, but I wasn't built to, you know, to really practice and stuff. Growing up, I played, I trained for piano. My teacher was so strict, she'd slap my hand. So sabi ko sa mom ko, I don't want this anymore. Tapos we were forced into voice lessons, bro.
I'm sure.
Cruises need to learn how to sing. And to be honest, amongst all of our relatives, I'm not a singer talaga. I can carry it. Pero bro, people wouldn't pay to see me perform.
Okay, gets naman. There's a difference.
Oo, and yun nga parang dumadating ako sa point na alam mo yung maiiyak ka na ayokong maragkanta. So you know, all of those things, I think it's really crazy. But yun, I think all of those things made me want to stay away from the spotlight.
I get it, yeah. Because you're just like, everyone's saying you should go do this. Did that make you want to go to do computer? What was your course exactly?
Computer science.
Computer science in the La Salle University. So we're from the same alma mater. Take me back to your TAF days. What kind of student were you like?
TAF. I'm not really one who wants to hang out with a lot of people. I usually hang out with a group of 2 or 3 lang.
Yeah.
I wasn't really sociable.
Yeah, we're the same in that way.
Again, nung pagpunta ko doon, they knew that I was the son of an actor. So they were expecting me to like run for office and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, go. And I'm like, no. Because I'm the type of student that I don't want to stay long in school. I want to go home right away.
Yeah,
I
me
don't
too.
want to sit with that. So bro, what kind of student was I? I was the student who gunned for half day.
Tama. Yeah.
So yun yung ginagawa ko. I didn't want to stay in school past 3 p.m. And pag nag-end yung class, bro, wala pang 10 minutes, I'm already riding a bus.
Okay. Yeah.
Going home.
Yes.
So, ginawa ko sa mga thesis, pati sa mga group projects, I looked for the people who lived in the South so that we could talk about projects in the
Okay.
So, that was the kind of student I was. I was kind of laid back. I wasn't the type who, parang, I need to excel in academics. I just breezed through it.
Yeah.
Failed a couple of classes, math.
Oh, same.
Bro, I hated it. I loved math in high school, but for some reason, parang math in college is...
I don't take a heavy math course, so I don't really... yes, math is hard, but...
What were the math courses that you failed?
I failed like anthropology. Okay. Oh, wait, math course? I didn't fail a math course, but I failed a few classes. Like anthropology at 7:30 a.m. I'm just like...
Bro,
7:30 a.m. in like the third floor of a building with a boring teacher. I'm just like...
Yeah, we always blame the teachers naman talaga, bro. We always blame the teachers. But
no, but it's my fault. I didn't listen. It was that was so hard. So I remember talking about this with you before. Like you explained that a bit to me when you were saying how you were the type of student that you didn't want to, you weren't like asking to be known in school, right? You're just like, I just want to do the work. I just want to go home. And I do understand that because when it reaches like 4 or 5, it becomes really traffic. So around 3, you have to start going now. So I find it really interesting to hear that from that kind of like computer science, because I know what that place is like. I know what your building was like. It's a very different world from where I was generally, or at least when you talk about the people.
They call it Planet Gokong Way.
Exactly, Planet Gox. That's what my batch called it. We call it Planet Gox. So when I heard that you were like that, and then you eventually went into a bit of show business, it seems a bit surprising. Why the sudden change?
Okay, so here's the thing. When I was in grade school, I tried show business out.
Okay.
Yeah, so I saw they asked us, they're gonna come up with a new parang kids show. It was Ang TV during that time. You want to be part of it because they're asking the children of celebrities to join. I didn't do it. My brother did. I saw him earning 1,000 pesos every Saturday. And for kids, that's big.
Yeah, exactly.
Sabi ko, how come he gets to buy toys? Tapos ako hindi. So sabi ko, I'm gonna buy it out.
Yeah.
Pero I was there for the money, but I did not enjoy being in front of the camera.
Okay.
So I was one of those people kasi every morning, they would pick kids to be on the gags. I'd hide behind other people. So, I'd just be there playing around and earn. Tapos eventually, yun nga, I saw na parang, I don't want to do this anymore. So I went back to school. Tapos when I was in school, I'm a big reality show fan. So again,
I see.
Bucket List is actually Amazing Race, Survivor. And Big Brother wasn't on the list originally, but then I became addicted to the first season.
I did watch the first season. I was younger then, but I watched the first season.
Talaga?
Yeah.
Bro, that's how old were you?
Young. I was like,
young.
I was really young. I don't remember what age, but I watched it with my parents. I voted.
Oh, really?
In the first season. The very first season. I forgot who I liked there. But I just remember I asked my mom, I was like, how do you vote? And then my mom was just like, oh, this is how you vote. Like she got her phone and she was like, oh, this is how you do it. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I never voted again. But but I did that one time and that was a fun experience. So that's the same season that you were like, hey, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, so I was watching it. Tapos sabi ko nga, I was in college that time. Sabi ko, I want to join the show. But not for show business. I just really wanted to join the show. That's how...
Like you like the challenges, you like the stuff like that.
Exactly. And for some reason, I told myself, I'm going to last long there. Kasi nga, bro, I'm excited to go home always. I'm a home body. Sabi ko, being there for over 100 days, it won't be a challenge for me. Uh, so, when I graduated from college, I actually waited out. I wanted to join. I was waiting for the next season. Kaso the next season didn't happen for at least a year and a half.
I don't remember why, but yeah.
They went with the singing show. They used
okay.
So anyway, yun. And then I went into programming first. Sabi ko, sige, while I'm waiting for it, I'll do computer programming first. And then I joined the show. I lasted quite long. I was there for 4 months. Surprising. People were actually surprised because usually sa mga reality show natin dito sa Philippines, bro, when, I'm not saying I'm rich, but when you're not poor, people don't actually vote for you.
That makes sense. Because you have the whole underdog thing.
Exactly.
You're like, why will this guy who comes from a good family win, and the one who's not from a good family, why are they eliminated? So I get that. Yeah.
So I think it's the Filipino culture where we want to help people out.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it's the underdog thing also.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So ang nangyari sa akin, people were actually surprised that I lasted quite long. I was actually evicted 2 nights before the finals. And then when I got evicted, I was supposed to go back to work na, but they said na, can you just spare a month or two, just do the guestings and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Then when the guestings happened, I saw na minimum effort but maximum return. So sabi ko, oh wow.
Like, yes, I can talk for like 30 minutes and
I'm game for this. I'm game for this. And then I saw it as something that I started to enjoy doing. I think because of the people I was with. I was with them for 4 months. So before I did it alone, but now I have friends.
That's true. Yeah. Makes sense.
I can actually flourish here. So that's when it started. That's why I entered show business.
What's the part you dislike the most in the house?
This is not to speak ill of the people that I was with, but Pinoy Big Brother kasi is supposed to be about you being real. But when it came, it's hard to be real.
Okay, makes sense.
So I just, being observant, you would see when people are playing. So, sometimes you'd hear a story here and there of someone. If you look at the profile and if you hear the way they speak, alam mo naman that they're well off, but they're trying to hold it down. So, you'd want to call it out, but you don't want to be rude. So, parang inside of me lang, I don't want to listen to stories like this. During that time,
yeah.
Okay, wala talaga akong compassion dati. I'd get irritated. So, I think that was the part that I disliked the most. But other than that, I quite enjoyed my time at home, at the Big Brother house. Wala naman kasi ako masyado nakaaway eh. So it was stressful.
So were you like the type to just float around, or were you like deep in also in issues?
In the beginning, I was really shocked. Na, bro, I grew up in a Christian environment. So parang syempre, diba, you're sheltered. And ito parang you're stuck in a house with 16 people, 15. Pang 16 pala ako.
Yeah.
You have different personalities. Tas lahat ng lalakas ng personality for the first weeks.
Yes.
For the first 2 weeks, I was just quiet. Hindi talaga ako nagsasalita. Parang I'm just observing. Tapos it wasn't until parang late ako nag-bloom sa loob ng bahay. It wasn't until a month after that I started speaking up. And that's when it all happened. So medyo naging doon din na break yung character ko na if I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to talk to you. So na parang, okay, if I want to stay here, I have to do things. So that's when, you start strategizing as well.
Yeah. That's so difficult for me to think about. Like if I think about like, I have to be living in a house with 16 people doesn't sound so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But when you consider the other 15 have like super strong personalities.
Exactly.
I think I'd be annoyed in like 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll have like one buddy, like, hey, like we're buddies. But then did you have someone like that?
Yeah, actually, I had someone like that. Yun din I usually pick just 1 or 2 people. Tapos yun, at least I could talk to that person, pour out my heart, and just be cool with the others.
Yeah.
One thing that lang din doon na highlight lang, of course, when you talk to someone and they're your friend and you're trusted, when they air it on TV, it looks like you're really, really bad. Not
Ah,
and doing that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
the reality of life is, when you're with a really close friend, you do that naman.
Mm,
So I think that's one of the things then people misunderstood how I was.
yeah.
And syempre, ako naman kasi during that time, if I don't get along with you, I would not make the effort to talk to you.
Mm.
So you have to think of strategies then. So good thing I brought with me a lot of things. So, you think, what does this guy need? So I don't need to talk to him. So, you'd start promising people na, bro, wala ka yatang hair wax. So don't worry, while I'm here in the house, you can use my hair wax. So stuff like that. So, looking back now, sabi ko, man, I thought I was really nice, but that was kind of evil. So,
Yeah. You look back and you're like, oh, that's why I did it.
yeah, exactly.
Sorry. What's the worst rumor you heard about yourself that wasn't true?
Rumor. Well, yun nga, sa loob ng bahay, people would judge you. Yun nga, you're talking behind people's back.
Yeah, yeah.
Tapos the Christian thing pa. So people would say na, nako, this guy's gay. Kasi what he's doing. So it was something, while I was inside the house, when I got out, I was surprised that was a thing.
I wouldn't think that, but okay.
That was a thing.
Mm.
Plus, bro, kasi nung time na yon, man, I don't know if I should be talking about this. That was in the past. Nung time na yon, people got really mad kasi for the longest time, there was this love team that was being built up.
Mm.
Tapos in the final weeks, I entered the picture, tas parang medyo na-break yung
Okay.
love team. So yun, kaya they were so loved. So when I entered the picture, they painted me as the bad guy. Talagang
man.
when I went out, my mom felt really bad for me and she was telling me, nako, yung tingin ng tao sa'yo. And I'm like, Mom, it's cool. I can handle it. Just chill. So
Did you actually like this girl or no?
yeah,
Okay,
we
okay.
actually got together for a while. But now she's married to that guy. So
Interesting.
I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them.
So in this story, you're the third guy. You're basically like the what did they call it now? Second lead syndrome kind of guy.
Yes. Well, second lead syndrome, the audience is supposed to like you. They didn't like me. So.
Tama actually. You're the foil to the whole thing.
Yeah.
When you talk about showbiz, because it sounds like you actually enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
When you speak about it now, why'd you leave?
I didn't see myself doing it for the long haul.
Okay.
Looking around, I was just thinking, is this something that I would do when I'm 60, 65?
Oh, fair. Yeah.
My dad, bro, he's so passionate about things. Sobrang passionate. When he goes to the set, when he goes home, he brings home his role. And I'm like, man, this is passion.
Yeah.
And I didn't see myself like that. Plus, yun nga, even if I was already in showbiz, I liked the acting thing, but being in the spotlight, I did not like.
Okay.
I wasn't really gunning for fame, and people were like, what are you doing if you're not gunning for fame?
Yeah.
So, purpose-wise lang, sabi ko, is this really what I want to do? Even right now, there are thoughts minsan na parang, it's still fun to act. Pero yun nga, would I do it long? No. So that's when I started asking myself, do I really want to do this?
Yeah. I think that's an important thing to think about. Because, like you said, you do enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you don't. But what if you're, like, in the middle of your life and you have no other skills except acting, but you don't love it anymore? I think it's important to know when to step back and find what you really, really want to do for, like, the next 50 years of your life.
Yeah.
I think that's a really interesting take on it. When, I don't know, I feel like it's really hard when you think about doing something for so long. Everyone knows your family for that. So it's like, it's not like they're judging you. It's not like they're like, oh, he can't do it. Because people genuinely are like, I think he can do it. Because he's part of this family. Right? But then now you're in a whole different space.
Yeah.
You ended up going to church ministry. When you go to work in the morning, what's the difference in mindset between going to work in the morning for show business and the mindset of going into work for ministry?
Going into work for show business, yun nga, I told you, I did it for the money.
Yeah.
One of the things that I liked in show business was that I got to play roles that I I won't do in real life.
Fair.
I
Yeah.
got villains, and that's nice na somehow you have an outlet to express that.
Yeah.
It was like playing. Pero going to work ng showbiz, ako ang nasa isip ko na, oras kaya ako makaka-uwi? Kasi usually sa showbiz, di ba, parang you're called to the set 6 a.m., 7 a.m., and you could be there till the next day,
Right.
4 a.m., 5 a.m.
Right.
So ako inisip ko, anong oras kaya ako uwi? Ilan kaya eksena ko ngayon? Sana makauwi ako ng maaga. Now, yun lang. Tapos parang, okay, I'm just glad that I'm going there and gonna earn money. Pero ngayon, going to church is a different thing kasi, you have a bigger purpose. You see the impact of what you're doing more than just entertainment. It can actually change lives. And I think all of us naman, bro, all of us, inside of us, we would want to make an impact in the lives of others. We just don't know how.
Yeah.
So, I found the opportunity. God opened that door. And right now, I go to work. I'm excited. I find myself in the office, even after office hours. And, just working, not wanting to go home, hanging out with people. And I guess that's how you know that you are where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, I think that's a great measure if you want to stay there. Because like what you said, even in school, you wanted to leave. You wanted to go home. In show business, you wanted to go home. When you were a kid, you wanted to go home. You wanted to be paid first for the toys, and then you can go home. But now it's a different world for you. When people see you, are they like, sayang naman? He could have done something else? Or do they generally think, oh, I'm proud of him?
The good thing about it is that, when I talk to people, they kind of saw it already.
Okay.
Because when I was in show business, bro, I stood for some things then. Like, they know that I would not do roles that would require me to go to bed with someone or would require me to smoke.
Okay.
Or would require me to curse. So, my people always said na parang, ano ba yan? You won't be able to
succeed and all
succeed
that.
kung ganyan ka, mapili ka. So, somehow they already saw it na, ay, oo, kaya ka pala ganyan. We're not actually surprised.
Okay.
So,
ayun.
But they say na nga na parang, bro, sayang naman yung, kikitain mo. But then I always say nga, it's not about that.
Yeah. When people ask you about that, when they talk about money, because of course, like let's say today, it's hard to earn money today compared to, let's say, a year ago, because of everything happening, our economy, the quarantine. When you talk about money and what you do, your career, right? It's different now. When you think about it, you're focused on. Of course, you need to earn money, right? Let's not get that. Let's not say that that's not important. Like that is important, but of course, you look at it and you say, in show business, I'll earn more.
That's
right?
true.
It's not you can't deny that you'll earn more in show business. But why do you think this is worth, let's say, less cash in your bank account?
God took me through a long journey with this. I think this was one of the biggest things that I considered before making that shift. Sabi ko nga, Lord, the adjustment and everything. But He surprised me in many ways. When I was struggling with that choice, He allowed me to win Singing Bee, bro, out of nowhere.
I forgot about that.
I won ₱1 million and I'm like, okay, Lord, you just, parang, oh yan, I can take care of you. And right now, as I made that shift, to be honest, yung adjustment sa akin is not that big because I'm not the type of person din naman talaga na magastos.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So, before, I noticed na I bought a lot of things. That's why I wasn't able to save that much then. Pero it's not as if I bought it because I didn't need it. Kasi when you're in showbiz then, you need to buy clothes. You need to buy a lot of stuff. So ngayon, na-cut off yung mga bagay na yon. And masasabi ko na God really knows how to take care of you kasi hindi ko naranasan na different siya from what I used to do in showbiz. The lifestyle, I would say, is pretty much the same. Siguro kasi my parents raised me with the lifestyle din na sobrang, kung hindi mo kailangan, wag mong kunin. They taught us to be thrifty. So, I would say na I don't feel that the compensation is different. It's different, but lifestyle didn't change.
What is the hardest challenge that you had to go through before you became a pastor? But you already knew you wanted to become a pastor?
Uh,
Is it the schooling? Is it the what was it?
Bro, I remember 2007
Mm,
watching a pastor preach.
mm,
And I said, grabe. Actually, yung word talaga na hinahanap ko sa sarili ko was passion. I was a very passive person.
okay.
Okay, we'll just breeze through it. And I
Yeah.
said, I know that I can be passionate about something. I just don't know what. That's I
Mm,
saw this pastor preaching. Sabi ko, wow, I want to do what this guy does. Kasi as he was preaching, ramdam ko.
yeah.
Sabi ko, I
Yeah.
want to make that kind of impact. Pero sabi ko noon, I was an actor na. Sabi ko, that can't happen. So, I
Yeah.
just have to
Yeah.
find my lane. I did not know that time na God was already speaking to me. I just didn't
All right. All right.
Tapos it wasn't until 20, mm, 2015, 2013 that
Mm,
I saw that opening happening for me.
yeah.
So, I think the biggest challenges were just waiting for the people around me to say yes.
Okay.
Yes to it. So, ang hirap kasi yung gagawa ka ng decision tapos parang walang support ng mga tao sa
Oh, for
paligid.
sure.
Yeah, so
For
I
sure.
think that was the thing that I really waited for.
Was the school hard though?
Which one?
When you went to school to become a pastor?
Bro, I loved it, but again, sabi ko nga sa school talagang studying in me. I'd rather talk to people. That's how
Okay.
I
Yeah.
learn. But yeah, it was really hard in the sense na we had 3-hour classes, 2 3-hour classes per day. Tapos second half pa 2 to 4, 2 to 5 p.m. So parang I really love studying the Word of God, but again, it was quite too long for me. What helped me was that again, big thing for me parati na may kasama ako eh.
Tama.
So
Yeah.
I had people who I was with and nagka-carpool kami. So I get to sit with them every day.
Yeah.
Na,
Yeah. Yeah.
"Ano natin
You have to
ginagawa?"
talk about it.
Exactly.
Like, hey,
And
we have a quiz.
with the school kasi bro, with all of the topics that we need to learn, it was compressed into 4 months. So
What?
yun lang, a lot of different topics lang. So quite overwhelming, but then I learned a lot, and looking back now, I'm grateful that I went through it.
What subject were you not good at the time?
A lot, I would say. A lot talaga. Well, we had to learn about world religions. So
Okay.
keeping track of this religion, that
Yeah.
religion,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's quite difficult.
What were you good at?
Eto lang interesting thing. People always see me as being a sociable person, I would say.
Yeah.
Pero when I entered the ministry, I was actually partnered with someone who was really good theologically. And people would always say, you can preach, you have the skill set of being a communicator.
Yeah.
But pagdating sa word, you need to really take it more seriously. You need to go deeper. Tapos yung isa namang friend ko nakasabay ko, yun naman yung kabaliktaran na sobrang word siya, pero pagdating sa relating with people. So we were put together, sabi nga, wag kayong maghiwala, you guys together. And right now, he's still my friend, and I'm still, a lot of things to learn pa talaga ako when it comes to the word. But I'm glad that I have people around me who can help me.
Is there anything that you learned, like an intangible that you picked up in college that you still have? Like, is it analysis? Is it memorization? Is there anything that you picked up there that you still use?
When you are in computer science, the competition is really tough. And I saw talaga everyone in our class sobrang excellent. Nung high school, bro, I thought I was intelligent. But when I went to college, parang, man, I'm so average, below average. So, I think that was a factor din na parang, ano ba naman to? So, but yeah, one thing that I found out, no matter how good you are, if you can't communicate your ideas well, it's going to be a challenge for you to succeed.
That's true.
So
that makes sense.
I think that's one thing. Even if you're not that good, if you know how to communicate and to present, you'd be able to, make things happen.
I agree with that, actually. It's funny because in college, I remember there were certain times where, let's say, I was in the group. I wasn't the smartest person academically. I wasn't the best person to do certain tasks. I don't even think I was the most hardworking person. But they'll be like, Trey, you presented. I'm like, yes. Right? Like sometimes you just have communication's a super important tool that if you have it early, you can use it to your advantage. But then for some people, you just learn about it on the way. What's something that you had to learn in terms of communication, or like you weren't that good at it before, but now you're kind of learning how to do it, or you've learned how to do it? Is there any aspect of communication, public speaking, relating to other people? Like, is there any weakness there before? Was there any weakness there before?
I think before my limitation was lack of compassion. So, I did not really know about what other people go through. I think with communication, it's so important that you know where the people you're talking with are at. Because, you need to be able to present it to them properly and you need to know how they think. And before, sobrang limited ko when it comes to knowing what other people think. Kasi nga, I don't want to converse eh. Parang I don't make an effort to know you. Pero yun, I think going into show business, it was a big thing kasi you're forced to get along with all sorts of people.
Right.
And sorry for the word, pero you really need to sige, different word na lang. You really need to make an effort to you need to make an effort for them to like you. So, I was really stretched. That's one of the things that I hated then. You need to really get on other people's good side just so that you can be able to get roles. So I think I was stretched there. And now in the ministry, before kasi, you do that for your advantage. But now you do it to serve other people. Right now, I get to talk to people with different situations from different walks of life. It broadened my perspective when it comes to these things. So that's something that I learned. Being compassionate is important if you want to be able to communicate well.
I think that's super important when you look at communication and compassion and empathy and all these things. I remember because I first got to really know you. When is that? Last year. So last year, you and I went to Thailand together for a trip. We volunteered. We helped out the local church and the local community there. It was a life-changing experience. We were there for 10, 11, 12 days. It was you, me, and just a bunch of other people. Tell me, what did you personally learn from that trip? Because from when I think about it, there are so many things that I could say, right? You were the leader of that group. I really appreciated your leadership. You really listened to us. You really let us, express what we did for the day. There were some days where it was like super tiring, super hot. When we had to walk a few kilometers to get to the place. We didn't know where it was. It was in an old mall. And then when we got there, it's pretty nice inside the place, but we didn't know where it was.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
There were so many things that I learned on the way. Like one thing would definitely be like, like God provides, definitely. Like even if it's not me, because I thought that was going to be me to provide for it, or my effort provided for it. It ended up not being my effort that provided for most of it. So when you look at it, it's crazy how it works. For you, what do you remember the most about that trip?
Well, one, it's really hot in Thailand.
We went there. That was what month? July, April. No.
Yeah, April. Bro, it was like I thought it's hot in the Philippines, but apparently
it was hot. It was really hot.
Sobra, bro. Kidding aside, one thing that I really learned was to empower people. Because I'm the type of person who doesn't trust easily, and if I can do it, I'll just do it and not ask for anyone's help. So people usually mistake that for me hugging all of the work. It was actually my first time leading a team going out of the country. And yun lang, as I prepared for it, I said that I'm going there not to do all the work, but to make sure talaga that I would delegate it to people. Going there, I was really nervous pa rin. Sabi ko, will I really do this? But then, sabi ko nga, it was that time when God showed me na when you trust people, it's not just you trusting them, but it's you trusting me to work it.
Yeah.
So yun, and I saw you guys flourish, bro. Your preaching there was amazing.
Thank you.
And
I love that. I still have the file.
yes, it was amazing. And yun nga, even the people that we were with, somehow they were able to do things that they didn't do before. People who did not speak on stage, we asked them to go up.
Yeah, that was great.
Sobrang ano lang, bro, more than just you accomplishing something, doing it yourself. It's different when you see someone na parang God used you to help this person. Wow, this guy is flourishing. So that was one of the things that God taught me that trip, is to trust Him, to work in other people, and to empower other people, help them realize their strengths.
Yeah. I remember when we went, because it was like summer. It was so hot. We had to do so much. But it was really fun. When you look back, you're like, oh my gosh, I had so much fun. And we were able to talk to so many people. Hopefully we, made a dent in their lives that they still remember it. And we were able to, like help out and bless the church as well with what was raised from the members of the group. But I also want to ask you about the local church, right? So in your opinion, I'm not talking about just the church you and I attend. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about the whole church. Let's talk about the people who believe in Jesus Christ. So just to be clear on that, right?
Yeah.
In your opinion, what's a mindset that you'd like shifted in this generation, in the next generation? If you could change anything, whether it may be, maybe it's too focused on rules, or is it not too focused on rules? Is there anything in your mind that you're saying, if I can make a dent in this area, when it comes to faith or when it comes to belief, is there anything that comes into mind?
I think it's just a matter of loving people more. One thing I admire about people in church is how they're excited to share about their faith. And there are times lang talaga that we want to fast track people that, and I fell into this trap. What happens is you point out the wrongs of people and you get so frustrated every time that they don't follow what's supposed to be done. And it comes from a good heart, but that's not the way that Jesus would do it. So, and that's something I'm still praying for up to now.
Right.
Loving on people more, being more patient, the way God was patient with us.
Yeah.
Journeying with them. A lot of times I found myself looking back now when I was starting to help out people, discipling people and ministering to them. Every time that they did not say what I asked them to do, I'd get so frustrated. To the point na, I need a break from you kasi I'm so disappointed in you. Sabi ko, parang how arrogant.
Yeah.
Sabi ko, looking back now, sabi ko, praise God that they're still in church after what. Kasi, again, I say that including myself.
Yeah.
I want to grow more when it comes to that.
Yeah. I find that a really interesting take on it, because when you look at it, when you look at love, it's something that's preached often, right? Like, oh, love other people, do all that stuff. I think patience is a part that we haven't really hugged yet. We haven't held on to it that hard yet. Sometimes we try to fast track things, like what you said. If someone doesn't follow the track in your head, like, not that the person can't change, but in our humanly nature, we're like, okay, maybe you're not gonna change. I'll talk to the other person first, kasi baka they'll change right away. And I think that's something that, I don't know, I find really annoying when I see it, because same thing, I've also experienced that. Right? And that's a flaw in us as human beings and all that stuff. I think one thing that's really interesting too is, and I just want to get your thoughts on this one. A lot of people nowadays, or at least you see on social media, they like, hold on to faith. Right? That's a common thing that you hear. Oh, just hold on to your faith, hold on to that. But when you look at it, we should be holding on to Jesus Christ in faith.
Yes, that's true.
Right? Faith is basically just believing in something with conviction. That can be anything.
Yeah.
That can mean anything. Believe in faith. But then if it's not rooted in anything, it means nothing to me.
That's true.
What are your thoughts on that?
That's true. I think yun nga, our faith needs to be anchored on the right person. A lot of people have faith in the good in others, faith in when you think about something, it will happen, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything needs to be centered in Jesus Christ because yun nga, He's the only hope that we have. So I think that's a mindset then that we need to shift. A lot of people are so elated with the faith talk because I think it's a big thing right now then. Years back when you talk about your faith, parang weird naman ito. Pero now, faith, I would say has actually become a cool thing.
Okay, that's an interesting thing. Okay.
Compared to before.
Okay.
Nakikita ko sa Facebook, bro, yung mga faith challenge, declare your faith. And I don't see it as a challenge that much anymore kasi nga a lot of people are bold about their faith. Compared to before.
Yeah. No matter what faith they have or what side they have. Yeah.
Exactly. So yun lang. Again, we go back to the object or the person of your faith needs to be the right thing. And yun nga, more than just you talking about your faith. Your faith is very, looking at ourselves. Hindi, faith mo to eh. This is my effort.
Yeah.
You have to look at the right object.
What were your emotions going through the transition of actually knowing and realizing and having your life changed when you met Jesus?
The decision to go to full-time ministry was actually a long decision. I journeyed 2 years to be able to make that decision. It's not something that I wanted on the onset. I knew that I wanted to do it, but to leave everything behind for it, it was a hard decision.
The money.
No, but in the beginning talaga I was struggling with it kasi with the show business thing I didn't see myself as progressing then kasi with my convictions then I would not give that up. So it was a slow process. People around me when I was in show business were asking me why don't you do the role, why don't you do this, and I always found myself weird then. Sabi ko, why is it like this? And I thought that is because ang galing ko. It's because I'm mabait ako eh. Pero now looking back, I saw it as God protecting me. The fast forward na lang, bro. I think with the whole journey, what made me say yes was the fact that I saw how all of my experiences in the past actually led to it. One struggle for me was napaka-fickle-minded ko naman. Pumasok ako sa computer science, I invested years there. Pumasok ako sa showbiz, I invested almost a decade there. And now I'm in full-time ministry. What's that?
Yeah.
Parang sobrang walang direction ng buhay ko.
Yeah.
So that was what I was thinking. Sabi ko, naku, pag nag-shift na naman ako, sasabihin ng mga tao, ano ba naman to?
Yeah, like, this guy's not focused.
Oo, tapos yung parang wala na sigurong magawa to sa buhay niya. Ganun yung dating. Pero now that I look back, imagine God allowed me to do the computer science thing to teach me analytical skills and administrative skills somehow.
Okay, yeah.
The office, the corporate thing.
Yeah.
When it comes to show business, that's when He, cracked my shell. That I was more comfortable communicating with people in front of a crowd. And not only that, but being comfortable talking with people in different walks of life. Now, when I look at the ministry, yun yung sinabi ni Lord sa akin that what are you saying na all of the years in the past weren't wasted kasi that was preparation for this. So, all of a sudden, it just made sense na, oo nga this is actually where I want to be. Tapos, yun lang, the moment I said yes lang was the fact na in show business, we earn per day.
Okay.
But when we have events in church, I'd pray na sana ma-cancel yung taping. Tapos ako parang, I'm actually praying na mawala yung salary ko, the very thing that I was working for before. So that was the time then that sabi ko, iba na rin talaga yung joy ko, no? So I don't want to, kid myself and go into work thinking I want to go home. Pero my heart is here. So, I just allowed God to take me through that process.
Yeah. Of course, we don't really know what the next few years have in store. But give me your big picture mindset. In 10 years, what do you want the church to look like?
10 years. I want more young people to be active and invested in church.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's one of my prayers. And yun nga, I see that young people come in, pero really to embrace,
Yeah.
the call, to share our faith and our relationship with Jesus. I pray that more young people would really take on that, would see it as important.
Yeah.
I would want to see younger people preaching. I would want to see younger people involved in the ministries.
Right.
And not just working, but really enjoying being in church.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd like to see a younger community in church.
I really believe we'll see that.
Yes.
It's something that has been prioritized already, and I'm sure we'll see it.
Yes,
I just don't know how it's gonna happen, but I'm confident it's gonna happen. All right.
I am, bro. Actually, I would like to you were one of the people na young pa lang active na in church. So, it might not have been a big population, but I'm glad that we had people like you. And I believe na yun nga, people like that, when we talk about leading lang naman, I don't want to see them just leading in church.
Yeah.
When I say active,
exactly.
Doing it out there.
Exactly. I think that's a really good point when you talk about leadership and why are we learning to be leaders in the first place?
Yes.
Right? It's not for a title. It's not for a position. It's not for power, for sure. Right? It's so that we know how to help people in their lives, not just within the four walls of a church, right? It's not just for programs, and it's not just for sessions or seminars, but it's for actual life.
Yeah.
You can have people in actual life.
Yeah.
That's where you really see change. And it's super important for us to really hold on to that and for us to seek for that more than just, while the sessions are great, while the seminars are great, those are just tools, and those are just things that help empower us. Yeah. But outside of life, we should be empowering each other.
Yeah, I think that's what the church is supposed to do, to set up leaders to be sent out.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah.
There's this mindset.
I'd like to ask you, kasi you grew up in church, and a lot of people, when they grow up in church, there's a certain point of their life that they suddenly, just detach.
Yeah.
You've been around people, I believe, who, that happened to them.
Yeah.
Why do you think it happens?
So everyone's a different case, of course, right? Everyone has their own reasons. Everyone has their own experiences. I would be lying if I said that I didn't think about it as well. Like those are thoughts that have entered my mind, especially you go into college, you go into all these different people from different areas. They expose you to new beliefs. They expose you to new mindsets, and you start thinking about them. You're like, wait, that sounds good. That sounds right. Is that something I should be holding on to? Is that something I should be believing in? So those are when you go into that space, it's a great space for learning. You get to learn how to have empathy as well. One thing I realized for myself was I knew in a weird way that no matter what, my parents would talk me back into it. Not that they'll force me or anything, right? But because of how they raised me, it was very different. I saw love through them. I saw all these things through them. I was thinking, if this isn't true, then it's all in vain. So that's one reason as well. Another thing would be really conviction. If you're taught to believe in something, not for the sake of believing it, right? But you explain why, you explain how, and you don't put it against them if they ask questions. That's super important. I've had great leaders in my life where I can ask questions to them, and if they say they don't know, they don't know. Yeah. Like, that's it. But if I've had experiences as well, I'll ask a question. I'll be like, why is it like this? Why does it have to be like this? And if they give me a really bad answer, that's when I start to be like, maybe this isn't it. Like there are issues, and like, why does it have to be this way? Why do I have to listen to this person? Right? But then when you look at it, it's really the leadership placed around you that sets your conviction. I knew from an early age that I had a deep conviction already. I would be lying if I said I didn't think about going against it. Yeah. I thought about it. I've thought a few times in high school, a few times in college, like, what would my life be if I did this, right? But it's always the idea that we're not going for temporary pleasure.
Yeah.
We're not going for the now. There were so many times where I could have just fallen into that.
Yeah.
And sure, at the time, it's like, great. I like this.
Yeah.
This is great. You know, my life's great. But then you start thinking, what are the consequences of that? Right? Sometimes you're not even hurting other people, but you're hurting yourself.
That's true.
And because like that's an excuse for a lot of people. I'm not hurting anyone. You might be hurting yourself. And that's something that I've always kept in my heart. And it's a big reason also. And family. Huge reason. Because, yeah, I saw the love in them. And I knew that was what I wanted. That's what I needed. Because when I went outside, I never got that from anyone else.
Yeah, yeah.
So if it's a reflection of God's love in your family, it's a great thing. If you can have that in your future family, go for it. Super helpful. Also, the leaders, like what I said, don't, like if you're a leader, don't be afraid to answer tough questions.
Yeah.
Because I've had that, right? Some of the people that I've asked, they've tried to answer it. They couldn't answer it. So they said they didn't know. Other times they tried to answer it, but then I was like, no, that doesn't make any sense. But then, yeah, I think that's really important for us to be honest with each other and for us to really talk about it. Why is this wrong? Like, right? You know, like there are a lot of questions. Where in the Bible does this say this is wrong? And then sometimes it's not clear. Sometimes it's no. So I think it's super important when you talk about stuff like that. Like, let's just be real with it. I'm not. A lot of times that questioning strengthened my faith more than diminished it, right? Because now I'm like, oh, okay, I have an answer to this after like 3-4 months of like asking people. Kind of makes sense of it. All right, cool. And that's super important. Also, I had a relationship with God at a young age, so I knew that I already believed in Him. I knew that at like 8. I have had an experience at 8, and then some people were telling me like, oh, that's just like the moment. It's the music, you know. It's the encouraging message. That's not really God. Like I've heard that a lot. And there were times in my life where I thought that, like, is it really God? Like, is it not really God? And then it's okay. Here's one thing I forgot to mention. What I've seen with my own eyes. There is no doubt that I believe in this God. I've seen people being healed in front of my eyes. I've seen people being changed in front of my eyes. I cannot deny that. And that's something that's really, really important to me. Yeah. Because, for example, I saw someone like being healed of scoliosis in front of my eyes. So sometimes I remember I was young and I was like, wait, then how did that happen if it wasn't God? Then I was like, all right, it can't. So logical conclusion says, but then that's mine.
Yeah. I love what you said there. I'm just trying to remember. You said something about you having that personal relationship. And I think with a lot of people, it's sometimes, especially a lot of us in church, I fell into that trap. You trying to make someone obey without knowing who Jesus is.
Yeah.
So I think that's
exactly
the big shifts that need to happen. Before they obey, you just introduce to them Jesus first.
I agree.
Don't try to fix whatever there. Let Jesus fix that. Introduce them. I think that's
for sure.
Looking back lang din, that's a question din kasi sabi ko, man, when not that I'm putting myself up, pero I believe the Lord protected me from so many things. Even in show business, there were a lot of temptations.
Yeah.
And looking back now, Lord, thank you that you protected me. So moving forward lang, I was thinking, how would I raise my kids to have that kind of conviction? What should I teach them?
Yeah.
Is it the gravity of the Bible or whatever? But then, when you said it, I think it's that as leaders, both in church or in the office or even as parents, what you teach the person is to be connected to Jesus and let Jesus do the work.
Exactly. There are some people try to explain it to you, but if you never really experience it, then that's a hard thing to really hold on to because you never experienced it yourself. You never witnessed it for yourself. So why should I believe it? So whenever someone goes away or like they stop going to church or they question it, I never doubt them. I mean, I never like say like, oh, but ikaw, you're not doing this. Praying for me, it's like we're all on our journey. Like I can help you through it if you'd like. If you don't right now, then fine, right? It's
Yeah.
a hard thing to balance sometimes.
Mhm.
But if you do believe that, Jesus is going to be the one to save someone, not yourself, then that's a lot of weight off you. Any last words on this before we go into the speed round?
Um, well, yeah, that's just that. Get to know Jesus and you will be transformed.
I agree.
I'll just share. I have a
Go.
friend I talked to a year ago, and my heart was really for him to be established in the faith. And I was doing all sorts of things. Just last night we talked, and I saw a 180-degree turn. And I was looking back, what did I do? I didn't actually do anything.
Yeah.
I just talked to him about Jesus, and now he knows him. I don't even need to tell him what's right or what's wrong. He finds that out on himself. So
super important. I think that's super important.
yes.
Because if we're just lecturing about right and wrong, nothing will happen.
Exactly.
I think that's something that I realized over the past few months as well. If you try to change behavior, the heart won't change. But if you try to change the heart, behavior will change.
Exactly.
So might as well go
Don't
try to
focus
change the heart, which is the long game. Like don't get me wrong, it's harder
Yes.
to do that, but it's more meaningful. So,
Exactly.
Bodie, thank you for that. Are you ready for the speed round?
Let's go, bro.
So for this round, answer as fast as you can, but as honestly as you can. But focus more on the honesty part. I don't really care about fast, but be honest. And feel free to elaborate on your answer.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one is, the first time I tried Googling your name, the first suggestion was Bodie Cruz, wife.
Oh,
You're
really?
single, right?
Yes, I am.
Why are you still single?
Waiting for the right one, I would say. I don't know, I've been praying about it. But yeah, it still hasn't come.
When would you like to get married? Ideally.
30. I'm 35. Yeah, really soon. Like really soon. It's something that's one of my prayers this season.
You consume Korean content, right?
Yeah, I do.
Give me your top 3 K-dramas.
Save Me.
Okay.
It's about the cult.
I haven't seen that. but okay.
Hotel de Luna, I really love.
I haven't seen that either. Okay.
Hotel of the Dead. And Vagabond.
I heard Vagabond's really good. It's on my list.
It's really good.
It's on my Netflix list.
Korean version of Provinciano. Bro, he does everything. He never dies.
What's on your Netflix list right now?
Right now, well, I'm watching Queen's Gambit. I started it.
I heard it's good.
It's really good. And Startup, a K-drama as well.
I'm gonna start that when it's almost done.
Bro, you have to start it soon. It's really good.
I heard it's really good.
Good acting and a lot of business strategies. You learn a lot.
I bet. I've heard so much great things about it. What's on your Spotify playlist now?
I don't use Spotify.
What do you use? What do you use?
I know Apple Music.
Okay, what's on your Apple playlist? Playlist, I guess. Apple Music. What are you listening to?
Right now, wow, that's crazy. I haven't listened to anything for quite some time. But yeah, I would like to say I'm usually an old soul. So usually I love listening to 80s, 70s stuff. I think the best, actually the best music I think that was ever made was in the 80s.
Oh, okay. What's one role, any timeline, any country, any medium, what's one acting role that you wish you got? You wish that you were the one acting in that role.
You know, one thing that I really loved watching, I want the offbeat roles, and I love watching musicals.
Okay.
So I think one role that I would enjoy doing would be Evan Hansen.
Oh, okay. That's a great pick. I wouldn't think of you that way.
Yeah, I love that. I love that show. So if I could only sing like that.
We talked a bit about this earlier. What's one reality TV show, any reality TV show you wish you'd be part of?
Survivor.
How long do you think you'll survive? I mean, but like be on the island.
I really don't know, bro. I really don't know. But I love the show. Yun lang, everyone who goes there is usually really portrayed as a villain, so I don't think
Yeah.
it would work out well for me.
Yeah.
But I was actually offered to be on the show.
Oh, okay.
But during that time, they were doing it in pairs. So they wanted me to come with my dad.
Uh,
But then my dad
uh,
had a show in the opposite network. So they asked me to come with my sister. And
mm.
when they mentioned my sister, I said no right away because we'd be out by the first day. You know the sad part?
What?
They'd ask us to come in pairs, but we would play individually. That's what I found out when the show aired.
Okay, okay.
So, yeah, but I love Survivor.
That's an interesting. I didn't know that.
Do you watch Survivor?
I've watched a bit of it. I don't really follow it. But like
Amazing.
the tribal drama is so interesting as well.
What I love about it, bro, is that again you get to see things from different perspectives, different ways people think. One particular season that I really loved was Millennials versus Gen X.
Okay, I've heard
You know,
about that. Yeah.
more than just a game, it's a social experiment, and they really you would see talaga how different these
Yeah, I bet.
generations think, and their strengths, their weaknesses, and how they can actually, you don't need to. That's what I saw in that specific season,
Mm,
that you're not supposed to go against each other because you can actually work together.
that's true.
Mhm.
What's one piece of advice that you'd give to someone starting out in first show business?
Show business, know what you stand for.
Mm,
Because I've talked to a lot of people who did not stand for anything, didn't have any convictions, and they
right.
end up destroying themselves.
Yeah.
Because, again, show business, it's really a good industry to learn. But then people would actually encourage you to destroy yourself in order
Yeah.
to be able to be a good actor. I remember lang, if I may share,
Go.
as I was going through workshops, a lot of people said na go ahead, experience life, go crazy,
Yeah,
make
yeah.
crazy decisions so that you could use it to act better.
Mm,
That was one of my considerations then. Sabi ko, I don't think God will put me in an industry where I would be required to destroy myself in order to succeed.
yeah.
So yun, know what you stand for so that you won't be blinded by money and, end up
Yeah.
selling your soul.
All right. How about? I know it's a bit different because of the environment that you grew up in,
Mm.
but to the shy kid that doesn't have confidence to communicate, what would your advice be to that person?
It's okay to be yourself. Sometimes shy kids actually, it's not that they don't have anything to say.
Mm.
It's because they don't think what they have to say matters.
Mm.
So yeah, being the shy kid, just find a friend.
Okay. That's
Find a
great.
friend. Don't go
Yeah.
through it alone. And I'm sure that when it comes to shy kids, you sometimes feel that you're alone, but find the other shy kid.
Yeah. What would your piece of advice be to the person thinking about going into full-time ministry? It's not for everyone, for sure. But
Not
what would your piece of advice be?
My advice would be don't be pressured by people.
Mm,
Make sure that you really heard from God.
Yeah.
Because the ministry is going to be long. There are going to be a lot of challenges. And again, this is not just talking about ministry. When you talk about going to a career,
Yeah.
make sure you heard from God, because any career, you will face a lot of difficulties that would make you want to quit.
Mm,
And
Yeah.
even if you transfer, you're gonna experience the same thing. But if you know that you heard from God, even with all the difficulties, you will stay there. So I
Mm.
think that's the best advice that anyone has given me. Because truth be told,
Good
we
one.
are humans, and there are times that I think, is this really what I want to do? And especially when it's already challenging, balik na lang kaya ako dun sa dati kong work.
Yeah.
But what you go back to is God's call.
Yeah.
So, and find mentors.
Mm,
Find mentors, napaka-crucial talaga nun.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's true.
they will, in the ministry, to be honest, God will allow you to do great things.
Yeah.
Find mentors na pwede kang tapikin or batukan pag mayabang ka na.
All right. Last question for you personally. This is just looking forward. Where would you like to be in 10 years?
10 years. Still in the ministry, definitely. But
Married?
definitely married. And having been able to raise a lot of younger people
Yeah. That's
who
great.
love doing the ministry as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's that more on me just watching and mentoring people
Mm,
than doing the things on my own.
Yeah, that's great. Bro, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for the conversation about, we went everywhere. We went from your early days to your Pinoy Big Brother days, to your college and showbiz, and even now when you talk about ministry. I think that people will be really inspired when they hear about such a life. You went everywhere. And you actually found a place where you were called to be. So for some people, that's ministry. For some, it's not. For some, it's a business. For some, it's, let's say, in a bank. It doesn't matter. But what you said, no matter what career, I agree. We should be asking God on where we're supposed to be.
Yes, and having been around lang, bro, before we end lang, having been around, a lot of people kasi think na what I say is ministry will make you happy. It's not that. It's ministry. Ministry was the thing for me. That was God's lane for me.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, find God's lane for you.
Tama.
And, dun ka talaga makakita ng joy.
Yeah.
It's not money. It's not in money. So
I
it's
agree.
not
I agree. You make a great point when you talk about all these things because you went everywhere. I think some people would dream about that, like trying so many different things, and you actually got to do that. You actually got to experience all these different areas of life, and now you're where God has called you to be in. And for us as well, we might not go through all the stages, but just like you, because you didn't know where you were. And a lot of people feel that way today. I hope that encourages them. And bro, thank you so much again for coming on. You can catch him online on Instagram at Bodie Cruz. And what else can people be expecting to hear from you?
Well, they'll pretty much hear it on my social media. So yeah.
All right, so go hit the follow, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Trey. You're doing a great job here, by the way.
Thank you, man.